Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, ferry across the Humber. An old lady steams home for a makeover. The sound of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. We visit Fusion Youth Theatre, and I'll be talking to Paul McGrath, Mayor of Beverley, about the town's High Street Fund. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Richards. First of all, it's over to James Dunn for the news headlines.
Hello. In the headlines today, 50% of sight loss in the region is preventable, and the police force open the books on stop and search powers. But first, a 51-year-old Hull man has been charged with the murder of a woman found dead at a Hull hotel this weekend. Deland Clifford Ullman of Haylard Croft appeared at Hull Magistrates Court today, charged with murdering Christine Randall, found dead at the Ibis Hotel on Sunday. Police say the pair were well known to each other in a domestic context a number of years prior. A Hull charity for the visually impaired has won a £37,000 grant to promote eye health in the region. The Hull and East Riding Institute for the Blind claim that 50% of sight loss is preventable and will use the money to encourage people to take steps to combat it before they reach crisis point. The charities also bought a number of home eye tests which could prompt people to see an optician or eye doctor if needed.
The message we're trying to convey with this project is really about the eye health agenda. A lot of people are living with sight loss when actually if they made some really simple preventative measures, some simple lifestyle changes, 50% of sight loss can actually be avoided. Some of those simple measures are really obvious things such as wearing sunglasses that have UV protection, smoking, there's a big link with smoking and eye problems. Checking out your family history is really important as well, so a number of simple lifestyle changes.
Homicide police are to post online exactly when and where they use stop and search powers. They're one of 14 forces that will map where they use the controversial powers and the age, gender and ethnicity of those that they stop. Home Secretary Theresa May says the powers are vital in the fight against crime when used correctly, but they must be used in a way that builds public confidence rather than undermining it. Steve Graham, Chief Superintendent of Homicide Police, said they recognise it's an intrusive power, therefore it must be used effectively and proportionately. And finally, a new scheme is being launched at Hull's libraries to help people with changes to service delivery in the digital age. If you need help with anything from benefit claim forms to learning resources, get in touch with the council to book your place. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
A former Humber ferry that's now a trendy London night spot is back in Hull for a £1.5 million refit. The ship is now dry docked and stripped out as a local shipyard gives her a new lease of life so she can return to her familiar moorings by the London Eye. James Dunn has the move on the fascinating life of the Tattershall Castle.
Built in the 30s, it started life as a ferry taking people between Hull and New Holland, but in 1981 it was transformed into a bar and restaurant and towed to the capital. And considering her age, she's in great shape.
It's in a remarkable condition. It was built in Hartlepool. It's all riveted construction and yeah, it's absolutely excellent. At the moment it's looking pretty much stripped out. We've got all the floors, everything's stripped out completely. We're shot blasting the vessel now, then we're going to do thickness tests and commence with the refit.
The planned transformation will be no easy feat. She can't sail alone, so the tow along the coast took 36 hours, and she's 64 by 17 metres, so has to take the bigger of the two dry docks. It will take 8 weeks in total, with 50 men working on her, and there aren't many places in the country that could do such a job.
I think we put a good package together with the owners. The owners had the confidence in us in finishing the job on time, and really it's a repeat job from any what we've done in the past. I think we're a shipyard you can rely on with the expertise to do it. We've been going for the last 26 years. Everybody we employ are all local, so yeah, they'll come and they'll get a good job done on time.
And they're confident that when they're done, they'll have one very happy customer.
Well, I think it'll get a lot more life for sure left in it, and I think it'll be a great success when it goes back, and the owners will be pleased to get a refurbished vessel back on the Thames.
You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, we canvass opinions on three-parent families And Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. The market towns of Yorkshire are dynamic and versatile, welcoming new businesses and new communities. Beverley is no exception, and to keep up with the times, its high street is to benefit from necessary investment. I'm joined by Paul McGrath, Mayor of Beverley. Paul, Your Worship, very many welcomes to the programme.
Good evening, Hugh. Thanks for inviting me.
What is this new money that's coming into the high street?
It's a high street fund is a pot of money that any local authority can bid for a specific project that will benefit the local economy.
And how much have you got?
£10,000.
And what will you be spending it on?
We'll be spending it on promoting a farmers market in the Wednesday market area of Beverley Town Centre.
And that's
to be held once a month.
I see. And that's an important and ancient market, but it's been declining?
It's fair to say it has been declining over recent years with the number of stallholders and the take-up for various reasons. So we see it as being vital to the economy of the town that we try to reinvigorate it.
Where does the money come from?
We applied for the grant to East Riding Council.
And they get it from the council taxpayers? Or?
Yes.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Now, the people who are selling things on this market, of course, they must be overjoyed. They're going to be great beneficiaries of this. Why is it so important to look after the stallholders?
It's part of our ethos as a town council to promote local food from field to table. It was part of a bid that we won a couple of years ago through lottery funding. So it's just a continuation of that. And
so these are local farmers coming and selling their produce?
There will be local people who are promoting and selling it, yes.
You better just tell me, it's called the Wednesday Market. Presumably it's held on Wednesdays.
The Wednesday Market, it's held on Wednesdays in the Wednesday Market area of Beverley Town Centre.
And the Wednesday Market is a place as well, is it?
It is, yes.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what, and anybody can turn up and, well, they can find it themselves, can't they? But by going to Beverley.
It's relatively easy to find, yes.
It is one of the most beautiful, well, it's one of the most beautiful towns in England, really, Beverley, isn't it?
It's a fantastic place to live, yes.
I'm surprised that you find it difficult to bring businesses there, or that there are not enough people there to support businesses like the market stalls, because people must just love to go there.
People do, and I think it's the weekend, certainly the Saturday market that have, then there's a Saturday market at Wednesday market on a Saturday.
Right.
Sounds a bit complicated.
Okay.
Midweek trade isn't as vibrant as what we would hope it to be.
What about the rest of the economy in Beverley? Are the other high street shops, not the market, but the shops themselves, are they thriving? Are they doing
It's relatively vibrant. However, I do think that there are some obstacles in the way of high rents on the high street. I think that's typical of any town.
And it presumably has a tourism industry as well.
It has a huge tourism industry, yes. Yeah, we get a lot of footfall from people from outside. Well, both internal tourists from Yorkshire and people from outside.
When will the money from this high street fund, when will it start being applied?
It's within the next month. It has to be spent within 6 months of the bid. So we're going to have a monthly farmers market for 6 months. So the money has to be spent before June.
And this will be the marketing and the promotion aspect of this. You'll be advertising the market around the region.
We're actively doing that at the moment here, yes. And
you're presumably buying advertising time with Estuary TV.
I would hope we will be, yes.
That would be extremely welcome. It's an agricultural area, Yorkshire, of course. What are the other industries that support Beverley?
Beverley is, I think, over the years has become more of a commuter town, although the administrative centre of the East Riding sits within Beverley, so that's probably the major employer within the town.
So where do people commute to? They commute to Hull, presumably.
I commute to Immingham.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So you work in Immingham, but you live in Beverley.
Yes.
And so that's a necessary infrastructure, isn't it? You need to have had the money being spent on things like roads and maybe railways.
Yes, very much so.
And how do you lobby for that? Because that's going to cost more than £10,000.
It'll cost a lot more than that. There has been some improvements certainly in the road infrastructure over the last few years. Rail infrastructure. We've seen the new direct train from Beverley to London instigated yesterday, which is good for the town. It's great.
Paul, we'll come back and talk more about Beverley in a moment.
Yeah.
But if you just wait 1 second.
Okay, thanks, you.
This week, Parliament has been debating the merits of artificial fertilisation using the genetics of 3 people in order to avoid some heritable conditions. We got your views on 3-parent families.
Nah, it's wrong.
It just depends. If you have a child that's got problems, you just make do with what you've got, really. But it's designer babies, really, isn't it? That's the bottom line.
I'm not too sure, because I think in some ways it's really good, but I think it does have its bad points, because I can't explain it. I don't know. I do think in some certain circumstances it's really good, though. I do forensic science, and we talk about it at college. But I think it does have its downfalls to it as well.
You're not getting what you've asked for. You're designing that baby yourself, so I don't know.
I don't believe in it. No, it's definitely not moral at all. It's 2 people only, and that's it, not 3. So no, I don't agree with it at all.
No, it's just wrong in my eyes.
I think anything that advances our knowledge of genetic sciences can only be a good thing. So, yeah, I'm in full support.
Probably morally right, to be fair. Like, anything to stop diseases is usually good.
You think to yourself, well, if they start doing that, what else are they going to start ruling out and things like that, you see.
A bit mixed feelings, really. It's good for parents who, for whatever reason, are unfortunate enough not to have healthy babies, but I'm a bit unsure about the genetics point of view.
The Fusion Youth Theatre in Grimsby teaches dramatical skills to local talent. At the end of last year, the group was granted funding from the Arts Council of England, and now they're able to extend and expand their projects. Richard Morris was in the front row.
At the end of 2014, Fusion Youth Theatre was granted money from the Arts Council in England. Now the group is starting to see the fruits of the £14,000 grant made to them. The money will mean that training can be provided to 10 local participants.
So we've been busy through sort of December and January recruiting our team of young people, and we start our training programme officially on the 22nd of February, and we're really excited about that. Which isn't a huge amount of money, but it was enough for us to be able to develop and offer a decent free training programme in theatre arts for 10 participants. So the people that are starting to work with us won't have to pay for any of the training. They're going to get expertise in all sorts of aspects of theatre from me and from Emma and from other people that we're going to bring in, and we hope that they'll be able to take that on board, take it out into the world with them and do whatever they like with it.
Fusion Youth Theatre also put out original content, not just versions of theatre classics.
At the moment it is mostly original pieces, so my work, and that comes from a professional background as well when I've been touring work, is very much devised theatre, devised as an ensemble, so that's my kind of background is, devised ensemble storytelling really.
And in fact, people are even now coming back to Grimsby to help with the project.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's been really great because I spent 3 years at university in Liverpool, and I came back and the connection's amazing, and because the company's ethos is so fantastic, it's hard to find it anywhere else. I've kind of worked all over. I've worked in Japan, in Philadelphia, in Greece, in Poland, and then you come back and it's still home. You want to come back and you want to bring the things that you've learnt back as well so that you can help improve Grimsby.
Fusion Youth Theatre prides itself on the inclusivity of the project, meaning that everyone is welcome. So, do the students look forward to it on a Wednesday?
Yeah, I just get to see, because I go to school, not in Grimsby, so it gives me a chance to see people who go to schools in other schools.
I think everyone does, because we all get involved and we all do have fun, and as I said, everyone does treat you equally as the same.
I'm still with Paul McGrath, Mayor of Beverley. Thank you for staying.
No
Paul.
problem, Joe. Yeah.
You mentioned that you were talking about the infrastructure, the transport, the fact that people commute from Beverley, live somewhere beautiful and go and work somewhere possibly not quite as visually delightful. You do yourself, you commute from Beverley and go to Immingham and Scunthorpe.
Yes.
What takes you there? What's your day job?
I'm a director for a ports and logistics company.
And so you're dependent on the economy of the Humber. And it's
totally and utterly, yes.
And what's it like? Just give me that. What is it? About an hour's drive from Beverley to Immingham?
Depending on the time of day I leave, it can take me 45 minutes. Monday morning, I think, or Tuesday morning, it took me an hour and a half.
Do you think that you mentioned the new rail service in the first part of the interview? What difference is that going to make to Beverley?
It'll make it easier for people like myself when I need to be in London to actually do it without changing trains and getting a direct line straight there. And I live 10 minutes walk from the station, so it makes it very, very easy.
We're very jealous on the South Bank. How long does it take you to get from Beverley to London?
It's just over 3 hours.
And what portion of that is getting from Beverley to Doncaster?
I did this on Sunday, so I should know. It took me an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, it's not so different from us then. Yeah. You're not a Beverley man yourself.
No, I'm not. I think the accent gives it away, but doesn't it?
I'm not a good enough Henry Higgins to tell from that, I'm afraid. But what brought you to Beverley?
Work. I got transferred through my employment initially to Hull 9 years ago. We were very familiar with Beverley. We'd visited there for over 20 years. We had friends who lived there. I'd actually visited Beverley in the late 70s initially, so we were always fairly attracted to living in Beverley.
Well, not surprising, it is gorgeous. And then, of course, you got involved in local politics.
I did, yes.
Had you been involved in local politics previously? Or?
Yes, I was, yeah.
And how did you find was it a Machiavellian world of Byzantine treachery and ruthlessness that you found yourself stepping into?
I think I left one more behind than I actually walked into. No, I think the people who in Beverley are very straightforward, they're very plain speaking. I think that's a trait that's shared throughout the region. It's certainly something I appreciate.
Yorkshiremen are always telling me how straight talking they are, and then they sometimes rather regrettably go on to prove it.
Yes.
You've been mayor, your mayorality is coming to an end.
On May the 6th.
You sound a little bit sad about that.
Yeah, it is. It will be a little bit regretful, but not everything comes to an end.
How does one become mayor of Beverley?
You're elected initially as a town councillor, and then you are elected by your fellow councillors.
And it's not an executive office, as it were.
It's just titular.
Well, it's titular, but it's a great piece of history, isn't it?
It's a fantastic piece of history, and it's an honour to be part of it. Yes.
You don't have to have you need to have a town charter to have a mayor, don't you? And
yes.
Some of them go right back into the Middle
over
Ages.
600 years. Yeah.
You've got 600 years for Beverley, is it? And what's your work? Well, give me an idea of your workload. What are your civic duties in the coming week or two?
Without going into specifics, it tends to be very, very busy. Most weekends are taken up, perhaps a couple of nights during a week at various functions, right throughout the region.
And you, of course, we do a regular feature here, Where's the Mayor? Yeah. And I always make some rather cheap reference to the chains, but yes. the costumes are absolutely magnificent, aren't they?
They are, and it's extremely good for one's posture wearing the chains.
It's that heavy, is it?
It is, yes. Eating soup can be somewhat difficult.
There's a lot of fur to get involved in the alphabetti spaghetti, isn't there? And lace and
very much so,
and things like that. Yeah. Who will be the next mayor? Because we'll need to contact him.
Yeah, well, that's open to debate because the elections are on May the 7th, so the whole constitution of the town council could change dramatically. So really, it's a little bit in the dark. Who will be the next mayor?
Rather an exciting piece of continuity. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us.
Not a problem at all. Very much enjoyed it.
Now here's the sport with Dan Kemp.
Hull's Steve Patterson has extended its stay at Yorkshire County Cricket Club. Patterson has signed until 2016 for the Tykes, whilst batsman Alex Lees has extended his stay until 2019 for the county champions. Lees has been away playing for the England Lions in South Africa, where he's been opening the batting in an unofficial ODI series against South Africa A. Humberston golfer Sophie Walker is undertaking a new role as selector for England golf amateur team. She reached the top of her game as an amateur before turning pro. As part of her role, she'll be attending championships and training sessions and have a say in who'll represent England in matches. Hull City's Premier League relegation rivals QPR have reportedly whittled their managerial shortlist down to 3. Harry Redknapp resigned as boss of the 19th place side earlier this week, and ex-Spurs manager Tim Sherwood, Derby boss Steve McLaren and Real Madrid coach Paul Clement appear to be in contention for the post. Meanwhile, in Scunthorpe's division, League One, bottom of the table Yeovil Town have sacked their manager Gary Johnson after 3 years at the helm. They drew 1-1 with United earlier in the season and are 4 points from safety in the division. Highcombe Junior Football Club have been awarded the FA Charter Standard Club Award for grassroots football by the Lincolnshire FA. The advantages of receiving the accolade are that they can receive tickets for England youth and women internationals and have support with funding applications. And Louth Fencing Club's Abby Johnson at the recent Yorkshire Youth League finals in Wakefield picked up a gold medal in her first match in the under-16 category. She's now looking ahead to the Yorkshire Youth Championships in March. And that's all for the sport.
Before we go, let's take a quick look at our dog of the week.
We've got dog number 134, which is maxed. We found out his name obviously because he is chipped. He's a year old. He did have a bit of a rough time for a start because he was in the Blue Cross. He had dealings with a car, so he was in an RTA. But he's fully fit and well now. Ideally does need castrating because he's known to be a bit of a roamer.
Beautiful animal. I'd take them all home if I could. Next week there'll be a Friday the 13th and we're hoping to do a feature on superstitions. Do you have any strange superstitions or experiences? Or perhaps you've had a very lucky or a very unlucky Friday the 13th. If so, get in touch and maybe we can feature you on the show. That's all we have time for today. If you have a story, head to our Facebook or Twitter pages or email the team on news@estuary.tv or why not give us a call on Grimsby 31 5553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A cold and frosty start but some sunshine on Friday. Cloud and some occasional light rain or drizzle will spread from the north at a maximum temperature of 5 degrees. Temperatures will begin to recover on Saturday. Expect dry weather with occasional light rain.